All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're having another market update. It's been a long time coming where we had a crazy last 2 months, and I'm here to try to update you as much as possible on the market. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. I see there's already 2 of you guys. Hopefully we can get some more people on this live, and hopefully we can get some good interaction. So it's crazy what's happening right there with interest rates, the amount of inventory that is out on the market. So something that, all right, let's see, we have a like, perfect. That means you guys can hear me. I'm going to double check because I had this issues. Perfect. That means you guys can hear me. I'm going to double check. Perfect. All right, so we're good to go. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the channel. We are talking interest rates today. We're talking about what's happening in the market here in Las Vegas. We're talking about the 30-year mortgage rate, what it's gone up to. And we're also going to talk about the inventory that we have in the market, what's happening to prices. Are we stable? Are we going down? Are we going up? I'm going to give you also my personal opinion on what's happening on the market based on my experience in it. And without further ado, let's just get straight into it. We got a lot of people tuning in. We have 14. Thank you so much for tuning in. Start leaving your questions down there in the comments. We'd love to interact with you guys so we can get a little bit more out of this conversation. You make it a little bit more fun for me. Tell me how wrong I am about the market and all that stuff. But I'm just gonna give you the data, and then you guys make the decision. So, 10-year Treasury. As you might know, if you've seen some of my lives before, the 10-year Treasury. Oh, let me share this with you really quick. What a dummy. Here we go. All right. The 10-year Treasury is what usually the 30-year mortgage rate, goes after. So if the 30-year Treasury yield is, the 10-year Treasury yield is up, right now we are 4.3%. That's the baseline. What's going to happen is mortgage rates are going to be up as well, at least on average. They're going to follow this curve right here. And as you can see, with the current, with the recent interest rates that we've had, increases that we've had with the Federal Reserve raising interest rates, we're at 4.3% baseline, which is pretty high compared to the last few years that we've had, where back in 2022, we were at 0% almost. It was more like 0.5 or 1% is where we were at. And as you can see right here, that's where it is, where interest rates were somewhere around 3% back in the day. And then we've had this increase ever since May of last year of interest rates kind of spiking up and just stepping up and up and up and up. And now we are up here at that 4.3. Now, how does that reflect on the 30-year mortgage? Let's see. Right now, if you were to get a 30-year fixed rate, this is with 20% down and without any extra points, with a good credit score, so anywhere between 700 to 719, you would be getting an 8.16% interest rate on a loan. Now, most people, that's on a $300,000 loan. Let's go more, because right here, the average sales price, the median sales price is around $400,000. So it's about the same. That's with a 20% down. Let's see how it changes if you go 5% down. You see, it's a little bit lower on the 5% down. That's because of the mortgage insurance that you get. And then let's say you go up to 30% down. Now you get a 7.5%. This is without points, without anything, without buying it down. Now, personally, what I've seen in the market is I purchased a property lately and I got a 7% interest rate as an investment property. And that's because I was able to buy down the rate. It cost me, on a $300,000 loan, it cost me $9,000 to buy it down, but I bought it down from 8.25 or 8.5, I don't remember what it was, to 7%. And that's very important in today's market, and that's what we will talk about towards the end of this market update, to give you kind of an idea of what you can do to try to navigate this market nowadays. So 7.5% interest rates on a 30% down, let's say 8% interest rate is the average right now for a good credit score. Obviously, if your credit score is a little bit better, you can play around with this and go online and see your score. You see it goes down a little bit more by a quarter point, but it's not going to make a big difference. Now, how does that compare to the market? So let's go over to Redfin. Redfin has a good mortgage calculator, and we can go over that together. So, you know, what kind of payment are you going to have on a $400,000 home with a 7.5% interest rate? That's got to be pretty high. Let me check the comments while I wait for this page to load. Let's see what's happening out there. What are you guys saying? All right. Can you guys hear me? Everything good? Let's see. Rob is saying housing market is going to slow down big time. No doubt about it. Not saying there's some biblical crash coming, just speaking the truth. Well, you know the truth, Rob. So we'll see. We'll see after this. At the end, we're gonna debate. I'm gonna debate you on that. So stay tuned. So let's see. Let's go to Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's pick a house that is $400,000, and let's see what your payment is gonna be. And then we're gonna go over a little bit what's happening in the market after you have this information. So I'm gonna go over the median sales price, how long homes are lasting on the market, and things like that. All right, we're gonna get back to the median sales price later. It looks like my laptop is taking a while here to upload. All right, let's see if I can find a house really quick. Okay, 479. No, let's see. And $463,000 on this house. 2,000 square feet. There we go. That's perfect. We'll go down to the mortgage calculator, payment calculator. Okay, so if you were to get a 7.76% interest rate with 20% down, that means you don't have mortgage insurance. After your taxes, homeowners insurance, principal and interest, and HOA dues, your payment would be at, wait a second, what happened? This just fixed for no reason. It was $2,900 a month. So let's put it back to 7.7%, 7.5. 30-year fix, 462, 30% down. Let's do 20% down, and then we'll play with these numbers a little bit. 20% down is $2,900 a month. Now, let's say you were to buy down the rate right now. Let's say you put 10 grand to buy down. Well, let's go for the median sales price. The median sales price nowadays is 405. So let's see what that looks like. 405, it looks like $2,500 a month with 20% down. Now, you get, let's say you can get a 7% down because you're buying down the rate, 7% interest rate. That payment doesn't move much, you know, $2,400 a month. Now, if we go to a new construction home and we get a 5.5% interest rate, now we're looking at $2,000 a month on that payment. That's not bad. That's not bad nowadays. It will cost you more to rent a house like that for sure. But you would have to put 20% down and 5.5% interest rate with a builder. So you're probably paying a little bit more for the house, just full disclosure. Okay, let's go over now what's happening in the market. Let's look at the median sales price. So this chart is a monthly chart over the past year. So it shows you the correction over every month. Back in January 2022, we had a median sales price of $400,000. That's because of, let's go 2 years back so it gives you a good idea. 3 years back, why not? So it gives you an idea where we were in January 2020 before the pandemic at $282,000. And this is why Rob is saying that prices are going to crash, because he's looking at back in January 2020, prices were $282,000 on the median sales price, which is way lower than what it is right now. We went up all the way until May 2022 to $445,000 on the median sales price, which is about a 35-40% increase. And then we had a correction towards the second half of last year with all the inventory coming on the market, everybody freaking out, and the market went down all the way to $386,000, only to correct ever since January upwards, going up to $410,000. That's the median sales price right now. So we had a correction, not yet back to the for the median sales price at least to May 2022 prices. But what is the median sales price and what is the average sales price? I need to tell you guys this, because the median sales price looks at the bulk of the sales, which is right in that middle price range where most of the homes are sold. So it doesn't keep in consideration of the high-end luxury homes, and it doesn't keep in consideration maybe the low-end homes like a condo or a mobile home or something like that sells for a lot less. So it keeps in consideration the bulk of the houses, which is that pretty much the middle income people, anywhere between, let's say, $250,000 to maybe $800,000 houses. And that average of those homes is around $445,000. If we look at the average sales price of the house, this keeps also in consideration luxury homes. Okay, so you see back in April, in January 2020, it was $322,000, and then it went up all the way to $520,000, the average sales price. This includes also luxury. And then it went back, it corrected down to February at $446. And look at what happened since February 2023. It skyrocketed up to $510, pretty much at the same prices or almost the same prices that we had last year in May 2022. So we've seen a correction upwards while the interest rates are still going up. What's happening in this market? It's crazy, right? So don't tell me that I didn't tell you so. If you guys have been watching this channel for a while and keeping updated, you can go back to the lives. I've done lives on this channel forever, and you can go back to what I said, and it pretty much tells you everything that has happened right now in the market. Not to brag myself and pat myself on the shoulders, but that's a matter of fact. You can go back to the lives from 1-2 years ago when we were talking about the market. And I know people that have been doing this, forever, and they were like, no, this is going to crash down and all that stuff, fear-mongering everybody online. And I was one of the few, if not the only one, that was saying that probably prices are not going to correct. And just because I was following the logic, in my opinion. I might be wrong. Maybe it's going to happen this year. Maybe we're due in a month or so. But so far, it's been following what I've been saying, and then I'm going to give you a prediction of what I think is going to happen pretty soon in the future. Towards the end of the video. So you got to stay until the end, and you got to hit the like button, by the way, guys, because that really helps. And leave me some comments. I want to see your opinion on this and what you think is happening in the market. Why is this happening? Anyway, I'm looking at right now all the active homes on the market, just because I want to see what's on the MLS. And you see, I pretty much got everything in Clark County. And what I see right now, of all the homes between condos, manufactured homes, single-family homes, and townhomes, we have 4,803 matches. That means there's 4,800 homes on the market, which is really low inventory. And if we switch right now, when we go to the homes that are contingent on the market, that are under contract, we now have 2,800 matches. That means that's in the last 6 months, sorry. Let's go to the last 30 days, which should be slightly different. So the last 30 days, we have 2,052 matches. So that's about a 2.5 month of inventory. Now let's look at the data over here. Let's look at everything else. New listings coming on the market. We have a little bit of an uptick. I mean, we're still low. Every month we have 4,000 homes coming on the market. No, this is the total amount of listings. So 4,000 homes right here. We look at homes for sale. There it is. We had that when we had that crash where everybody was freaking panicking and prices were dropping. September 2022 is when it was. 13,000 homes on the market was at the peak, going down to 6,351 in August. And then right here right now, back in February 22, which was the top of the market, it was at 5,000 homes on the market. So are we getting pretty close to the top of the market? Maybe. But we got these cycles going up and down that we just can't predict. And that's what people don't tend to understand. How many homes do we have pending? 27, 2,800. And we said on the market 6,000. So it's about 2 months, 2.5 months of inventory. Closed sales, we're selling about 3,000 or 2,900 a month. Days on the market. The days on the market has been going down from 42 days on the market on average in January to now 14 days on the market on average in August. That's for the median sales price. Again, don't keep this in consideration. I have a listing that is sitting on the market, even though we're priced very well, that is on the upper end price range. So keep that in consideration. Months of supply, everybody has a different situation. Everybody's in a different market. So it shifts depending on the market and location where you're in. October 2022, we were a month supply. We were at 4.1, and right now we're at 2.4, just like I said. It's been trending down. Over here, we had only 1 month of inventory. That was craziness. List to percentage of list price that you sell it for. So if I put it on the market for $500,000 house, on average, you should expect to get on average for the average realtor to get 100% of that. So you'll get a full price offer is what it's saying right now in August. Now back in January was 98% or so, in December, and then right now it's at 100. There's a lot of situations right here where it could be different. Price per square foot, the median sales price is $243 a month at the bottom of the market, technically in December at $225, and then last year was at $259. Now it's at $243. Not bad. We're still recovering. Anyway, just to give you a little bit of data on where we're at. But let's see if someone left some comments. Let's see what everybody is saying. We got 17 people here. Oh, thank you for the 2 dislikes. We got 2 dislikes and 4 likes. Appreciate that. All right. So let's see. Rob is on it. Okay, let's see, Rob. Let's see what you have to say. Well, first, let me talk about what I think is going to happen right now in this market and where we're trending. So obviously higher interest rates are going to slow down the activity. We have a lot less activity right now on the market. That's just a matter of fact. You see the numbers. We had way more homes selling back in the day last year. Back in the day, I'm saying last January pretty much, compared to now. That's because interest rates were way lower. Now homes are selling, yes, but not many people are moving. So not many people are selling. So there's a limited amount of supply coming on the market. Builders are holding off on building out a bunch of spec homes like they were doing last year. So they're decreasing the amount of supply, the supply of homes coming on the market. And we have less people moving because, hey, if I have to move out of my house that now I can get, let's say, $450,000 from, why would I move when I have to pay now, instead of the 3% interest rate that I have on my mortgage, I have to pay a 7% interest rate on my mortgage? Nobody in their right minds is going to go and increase their monthly payment unless they really have to. So that would mean in case they need to go and move because they have a certain family situation, maybe they got divorced and they can't afford the mortgage or whatever. But even in that case, they probably might want to keep it as a rental. Not if they're divorced. Maybe one party would buy it from the other one. But pretty much in any other situation, let's say you're moving out of town, you would probably want to keep it as a rental because right now with the rent prices, how high they are, you're going to be cash flowing some really good money. And that's usually my first thing that I tell my clients, hey, have you considered keeping it as a rental because you can really cash flow this thing. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been seeing in the market. So the supply is getting lower and lower as we go because people still keep buying even with high interest rates. And you've seen the data, 2,800 homes are under contract right now. Let me show it to you again. 2,800 homes. Look at this number right here. Actually under contract, 2,000 homes under contract. Okay, that's right now. Within the last 30 days, they're probably going to close these homes. Okay, so 2,000 homes under contract. That the homes are selling. I mean, we have an inventory, a supply of inventory of about 4,000 or 5,000 homes on the market. Things are selling. So why are prices not going down? It's just a matter of supply and demand. I've been saying this forever, not to brag, but if homes don't come in the market, and this is the question that I ask every person that is fear-mongering out there, if there's no inventory coming on the market, if you think that there's a crash coming right now, then prices are going to go down like crazy. You got to tell me, how is that going to happen? And the moment you will tell me how is that going to happen, let me know down in the comments. How is that going to happen? Where is the inventory going to come from? Now, we go back to 2008, the inventory was coming from foreclosures. That's because interest rates were most of them were variable interest rates, so people could not afford the loan anymore. And then what happens is more and more people will put their house on the market because they wanted to get rid of it. Once prices started going below what they were worth, everybody started foreclosing because it's not worth keeping it. With interest rates being higher and a higher payment, I can't afford it. I lost my job, and then the economy started crashing down. So that's what happened back in 2008. And the more prices went down, the more foreclosures came onto the market. So question that I have for you is, right now we don't have foreclosures. I mean, yes, we might see an uptick in foreclosures, but realistically, are we really going to see that big uptick in foreclosures like we saw in 2008? And the reality is, if you look at it from a logical perspective, is that you're not going to see that as much, right? But maybe will be a big uptick because we have, maybe a big recession or something. But in that case, you're going to be worried about trying to find a job and everything. So you're going to be in way bigger, trouble trying to find a job if we have a big recession like the one that we had back in 2008. But again, housing doesn't mean that it's going to be affected as much, because again, if people don't put their house on the market, if they can't pay the mortgage, I mean, they'll probably figure out a way to pay the mortgage because you have a low interest rate. But they'll try to keep it as much as possible. And the banks, they don't want the homes back. They're going to keep you. They're going to do some kind of 40-year mortgage. They're going to refinance and make it cheaper for you. But they'll figure out a way to keep you in the house so that you don't have to sell it, which means not much inventory is going to come on the market. Most likely the Federal Reserve will intervene. They'll say, oh, look, here I magically changed how I show the the year-over-year inflation numbers. I'm gonna change it to right now. I'm not gonna consider housing anymore. They already don't consider it. They consider what's called what's it called? Rent, something like they do a statistic, a survey to random people in the United States, and they say, oh, how much do you think you could rent your house that you live in right now? The owner, what are they gonna say? I don't know, $2,000 a month. I don't know. And then based on the responses, they average and they see how much. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The way they count inflation is ridiculous, and you can see it in the grocery stores every day. You can see it in the housing market where home prices are way higher, and that's how they rob people of their Social Security and all their income. All people, their incomes have not gone nearly, not up as much. Not even to the rate of inflation that they are declaring, which is false and it's just a lie, but also they haven't gone up as much as the real inflation, probably not even a third. And that's when rich people get richer and poor people get poorer, because poor people don't have assets that they can leverage their money on, and they don't benefit from inflation at all. They're always the one that stay behind. And that's what we saw since the 1970s, but it's a long story. That is connected to the dollar getting off the gold standard. But anyway, let's go back to the real estate market here in Las Vegas. So that ties in, however, to inventory. And there's one thing that really could set up a big difference. It could make a difference when it comes to inventory, and it's happening already, and I see it, where we can have a lot of inventory come on the market. And guess what that is? And I've been looking at this. I've been looking at the data. And that is Airbnbs. I've been checking out some data right now, and I think from last time I checked, and this was from a question from someone in the comments, they mentioned, about this Airbnb crisis. A lot of, these homes, they were doing it illegally anyway, but I've seen from a few clients that what's happening is the city is putting more restrictions, and they're putting more money into investigating illegal Airbnbs. I had my lender, actually, she has an Airbnb, and she was making bank on Airbnb. I mean, for the Formula One, she was booked out pretty much all year. She was making $200,000 a year from Airbnbs on a mortgage that was $4,000 a month. She was making bank. Then she got a ticket from the city for $25,000 because she was on Airbnb, and she was trying to promote the house, and she was doing all of that. You know what she decided to do? She decided to Take it off the market, either do a medium-term rental or maybe put it on the market for sale because the mortgage is too high. So I could see that creating a little bit more inventory coming on the market, but is that really gonna make a big difference in the market? How many homes are actually gonna come on the market? Let's say you have, I don't know, 3,000 homes. Let's say there's 10,000 Airbnbs in Las Vegas, right? And that out of the 10,000, maybe half of them are gonna stop doing it because the other half, they're going to keep doing it. Especially the less homes are going to be on Airbnb, the more prices are going to go up. So people will figure out a way to stay and still make money illegally with Airbnbs. Because now you have less supply of Airbnb, so prices are going to go up for that. And what's going to happen is now we have, let's say, 50% of the people maybe switch to a long, keep the rent, keep the homes. So that's 5,000 homes that could come on the market. But maybe out of the 5,000, I would maybe see another, I don't know, 2,000. They turn it into a long-term rental. The other 3,000, or maybe they do something else with it, or they do a medium-term rental or something like that. And maybe 3,000 of the 10 actually come on the market. They won't come on the market right away. It will take a little bit of time for that to happen. But that could be 3,000 homes on the market. That could technically double the inventory within a month or 2, 3 months, or 6 months, let's say. It could double the inventory that we have right now. But then the question is, are more people going to come out and purchase those homes? How much is this going to affect? Would it really make a big difference, the 3,000 homes? In my opinion, maybe it could, a 5% decrease in on average sales price on a house. But more than that, it really won't make a big dent just because of the amount of homes. If we look at it from a logical perspective, 3,000 homes doesn't make a big difference. That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe foreclosures as well. There's more foreclosures. I'm sure there are going to be more. It's going to be an uptick. But really, with today's government and how everything is and how they can stop everything. Oh, we did it during COVID. We might as well do it again and stop everything from happening. And then meanwhile, prices keep inflating up and it gets more and more expensive to own a house, which kicks everybody out of the market pretty much. Anybody that had a chance to buy a home, which is the saddest thing. Anyway, let's go and see a little bit of comments. But so what's the conclusion to this before we see some comments? Conclusion is, are we going to see a lot of inventory come to the market? If that's the case, we might get some inventory, but is that going to change the market significantly? I don't think so. We still have an uptrend market from what I've seen, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And then is that going to make a big difference on the prices, maybe 5% or something like that? But at the same time, when we have the uptrend, that's probably going to be eating up the inventory right away, and prices are probably going to stay stable throughout whatever recession that we have upcoming. That's my prediction. I might be wrong. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm here just to tell you my expressed opinion, and then you make the decision based on your situation because I don't know your situation. Now, let's go to the comments and see what you guys have to say. Rob saying housing market is going to slow down big time. It already has slowed down big time, but it doesn't mean that prices crash when it slows down, because you can have less sales, but prices stay up because you have less sellers and less buyers. But guess what's going to happen when interest rates drop? And at some point they're going to drop. They're going to manipulate the way they... let me put this comment on there, by the way. Add to broadcast. There we go. Prices might correct. They might go down, or I don't know what they're going to do. But the point is that, we don't know when the interest rates are going to change. And here's one thing that I would tell you, actually. And this is what I'm trying to prevent myself from getting exposed to, is next year we're going to have the elections. And usually in an election year, the presidents, we've seen it with Trump, we've seen it with other presidents, they tend to want the Federal Reserve to drop the interest rates. So if next year we have an election, most likely Biden is going to try to lower the interest rates. It's going to put some pressure on the Federal Reserve. Hey, I'm going to fire you if you don't lower interest rates because you're making my job difficult to get reelected. So that could happen. And Trump did it. Why not Biden? Biden could do it too. So, I mean, they technically shouldn't influence, but politics is all about money and corruption. So it is what it is. Anyway, you were saying it's going to slow down big time, no doubt about it. Not saying there's some biblical crash coming. Just speaking the truth. Yeah, everybody has their own truth, but I don't agree. I disagree with you, Rob. You also said, Rob, I'm a lender. It is slowing. It is slowing. Yeah, it's slowing the amount, but I don't see prices going down. I just bought a toll community in Sky Canyon. I very much understand these cycles. I've been in the game for 20 years as producer. Again, not saying a crash. Okay. Yeah, same thing. We're saying the same thing then, because I'm saying there's not going to be a crash as far as prices goes. There's a crash already as far as how many homes are being sold. And the market is slow depending on where you are. For example, up there in the Northwest, it's pretty slow. It's tough to sell a house. And if you're buying a toll brother, I mean, you're probably well off, Rob, so you don't have any issues. But you're spending some money on there because those toll brothers houses are still expensive. Not as expensive as they were, but they're pretty expensive. And I'm having a hard time selling a listing out there because it's just a tough market. Let's see. I've been in the game. Yeah. Let's see what else. Rob said also, better off negotiating the price on a new build than playing with the rate. Rates will be down 12 to 18 months from now. I agree with you. Next year, yep. I'm not saying prices are going to crash. It's slowing. I just bought. Yep. And then you refinance whenever you get a chance. It's slowing because the economy is heading into a recession. This is the best time to buy. That's what I mean. Again, 20 years in the game. Trust me, I know. 20 years in the game doesn't really mean anything, Rob. It's just, I know that you have the experience, but at the end of the day, sometimes it could play a disadvantage because you've been through the recession, but you haven't been through the recessions before. So what I advise you to do is to look back in the other recessions and see what happened to real estate markets, how prices have reacted to it, especially in the 1970s and 80s, how prices have tripled since we had the huge inflation that we had. Let's see, when we say, and then you said, I never said it's going to crash. Oh, geez. Okay, I'm kidding, Rob. All good. I appreciate you putting in these comments. We're just having a good conversation. Okay, appreciate that. Let's see. Rick M says, you talk about crime tolerance in your video. Is crime tolerant? What is crime tolerance? Who has a crime tolerance? Crime tolerance? Crime rates, maybe? It's not that I talk about it. I literally share a website. I'm not allowed to talk about crime rates as far as, this is a bad neighborhood or this is a good neighborhood because I'm a realtor, I have a license. But what I can talk about is I can show you the data. So from a website, I show you the source. So in my video, I've gone through it a few times where I showed, like a crime map to show you, to try to give more value to the people to understand where they are located, what kind of crime rate would they expect, and it's really like an overview kind of thing. It's nothing into detail or anything like that. But yeah, so what is the tolerance? So crime rates, that's something I usually go over with my clients. I give them the websites to do their research so that they can kind of go through every neighborhood and understand if this is the right place for them or not. Claudio Diaz says, why don't people like to buy in Sky Canyon? Is it the distance to the city? Yes, Sky Canyon is a little bit farther out compared to other places, but personally I think it's a really great place to buy. It was in one of my top neighborhoods that I wanted to buy in myself because I saw the one of the best values up there. And also what I saw is that it had a lot of potential for the future appreciation, as well as all the infrastructure that is being built around it. Great location, easy, connection to Summerlin, Strip. You're talking about 20-25 minutes to get to a Strip. So I really like that place. It's just that some people don't like to buy there, but I have a lot of clients in Sky Canyon that love it. So that's just my 2 cents, Claudio. But yeah, anybody else? Let me know what you guys think. We're gonna try to wrap this up pretty soon. We've been on it for 34 minutes. Yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in here. And yeah, so that was my 2 cents on the market, guys. Let me know if you have any other questions. You can leave them on the comments after, if you're watching this after it was live. Yeah, I think, the market is pretty much going to be, we're going to have a little bit of an issue when it comes to the inventory. That's my 2 cents. And I believe next year, before the elections, probably within the next 6 months, we're going to see a correction in interest rates. I'm not saying they're going to go down to 3%. We might start seeing 5% interest rates, and then instead of a 5% appreciation or 7% appreciation every year, which would be the the inflation rate, we're probably going to see a lot more than that, just because prices are going to adjust accordingly to the interest rates. A lot more people are going to start moving, because obviously, I think they said something like 80% of loans are 6% or less in interest rate. So it's tough to sell a house like that. And then I think it was like 50% had a rate of 3% or less. So 50% of homes definitely not coming on the market. But yeah, so that's what I think is going to happen next year. We're going to see a little bit more appreciation that we had this year. Obviously, we had a big dump back in last year when interest rates skyrocketed so fast. But things have turned around big time in January, and they're still going up even though rates are high, which is tough on a lot of buyers. But at the end of the day, you got to buy when you're ready. So I'm not saying this is the time for you to buy. You might want to wait until interest rates go down, but I don't work like that. I buy whenever I can, because at the end of the day, in the long term, it's not going to matter what happens in the short term. So that's how you should make your decision as well, although this is not your financial advice for you guys. Let's see. Joanna says, I agree, Northwest is a great region. Yep, I agree with you, Joanna. Frederick says, is there room for more housing development in Sky Canyon? Sky Canyon is almost built out. I'll show you on the map really quick. Let's see. Let me remove your comment. So Sky Canyon is almost built out. Sky Canyon, if you look at it, it's this area up here in the Northwest. So from Grand Teton up here, almost up to the freeway, but not all the way. And then it has this area right here that needs to be built out still. And that's where Century is building over here. And then over here, I think right across the street, this is not Sky Canyon. So this is the end of Sky Canyon. So we still have this part of Sky Canyon that needs to be built out, which is not much. And then we have 2 schools coming up also as part of this master plan community. Now we have a lot of builders coming in right across. We have the Leech, which is Tri-Point. They always go right next to the master plan community. So they're like, oh, the buyers come in. They're like, oh, I can buy just across the street and spend a little bit less because, land is a lot cheaper. But that's how they do it, Tri-Point. They're smart. So they're building right here, Citrine. And then we have KB up here in Tri-Point with Alpine Ridge and Arrow Peak that they're building. So this is the next part where everybody's going. And then eventually, I don't know if they're going to keep building right here, but Sky Canyon is almost done. Probably another 4 to 5 years, I would say they're done. Hope that answers your question. What else? I think that's it, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you guys need help purchasing a home, I'm your guy. All my information is down below in the description. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for interacting with me on this live. I'll try to do one as often as I can. Probably every 2 weeks I'll try to do it. I wanted to do it actually weekly to keep everybody updated, but I feel like real estate moves too slow to try to put out a video every week about it, because I'm just going to be redundant and repeat myself all the time, because that's what it comes down to. And there's just not enough information, enough news to give you a video every week or every 2 weeks. So that's why I try to stick it every once a month with this. But I have been putting more videos up on my, I started yesterday, put my first video up since a while on my second channel. So if you want, you can check that out. You can keep, I'm going to be updating you a little bit more on that second channel about real estate, taxes and all that good stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.